that's supporting the ministry in many ways, and I'm sure you've seen lot of beautiful structures being built all over the country. But this is another this is what another thing that we have with the MRC Holland to make it possible for the ministry to have is the internet connectivity. So if we are able to achieve that, we are very hopeful that a lot of things can happen. And I'm sure you are also aware of the fact that the EU has committed to solarize about 1,000 schools all over the country. So we are hopeful if these two things are able to be achieved, the ministry may be able to
reach out.
Yeah, exactly.
Students.
Yeah, ICT, learning through ICT is part of our policy, so but we are limited as for now.
So I just want to ask you into a bit of finance, because we're looking at the packages that you explained here. I know even here at iAfrica Production how expensive it is just to produce one video or one package. It takes time, and then it needs a lot of human resource and ideas. And how are you tapping funds to be, what is the budget about this?
Yeah, they did the budgeting, so I'm sure he will be able to tell you about the budget.
Okay.
I'm not directly involved. I just set up a team and then they work on the budget, but they are yet to present it to me. But one thing is clear is that the communication unit that the ministry established already have some have equipment that they work with, and these were procured under the current ESSP project. So this is with the help of those facilities, and then the trained staff in that unit, they are able to do the recording as for now. And then the only budget that we are providing for that is the operational cost for the staff on the ground. But the equipment and everything is already there on with the communication unit. But like you said, for this emergency strategy plan, there will be other costs, like the media that we are engaging us. So we will definitely have to plan something for that as well. So but then the budget is not yet presented to me.
Who is on board for a foreign donor to be likely chipping in? You mentioned MRC Holland. I know you've specifically talked about their connectivity, their interest in that area, but I'm sure this might require a lot of money. So we're seeing the World Bank and the UN, UNICEF. You want to say those, are they also potential partners? And if yes, what are they doing right now for this?
Because we were yet to present the plan, the strategic plan to our partners, so we are yet to get any commitment. But one thing is assured is that this plan must go ahead. Come Monday, there will be lessons through radios and televisions.
So thank you very much for this. And now, Mr. So, the level of GTU, so teachers will get this message and understand that, okay, lessons are being done for students through the media, and one way or the other, would they feel that, okay, the robots have taken over our jobs?
No, actually, it's not going to be intimidating, to be honest with you. We need to understand that, like I said, the second objective is to ensure that learning continues, which they couldn't do. So the ministry as a strategy has to resort to a virtual approach through the mass media, social media and stuff like that. And then, like, to respond to to answer your question, no. In fact, what the ministry is employing are stopgap measures. And then along the line, I hope and I am convinced that the permanent secretary is drawing very good lessons from this particular experience. And by extension, central government. Because if I should put on my union caps, the development budget from central government to education is a mockery, so to speak. So I hope this is a good lesson for us to take note of, so that what we anticipate our education system to look like would have had those financial muscles to do so. Because education is one of the most resourced sector in terms of human resource. Virtually everybody at the ministry is a graduate, literally speaking, close to 99%. You know, and then even the middle class managers have a minimum of master's degree from senior education officers and stuff like that. So they have. So probably the financial resources would be a very good requirement. And then these are some of the issues probably we'll be looking at. And we also very hopeful that yesterday there was a development partner meeting. And there were a lot of goodwill. So we are very hopeful that somebody somewhere else may also try to see what he or she could do. I'm also happy that government, that is the executive, has taken a bold decision to put aside $500 million, is $500 million. And certainly that is meant to respond to COVID-19. And I'm very pretty sure that health, education, information, all other social sectors would have to, benefit from that to ensure that, together we engage on this matter.
Okay.
I don't think the teachers will feel otherwise about this because, as I said, they are directly or otherwise being engaged in terms of developing the materials.
Okay. Sandy Kijai, you
have said that we want them to support us fully.
No, we have not even gotten to a point where people have even pledged. We just called them. You see, the permanent secretary established 3 structures. You have one coordinating committee, the technical group, and then this development partner engagement. Okay. There is nothing physical on the table as we speak right now. Even with regards to
the fundraising campaign is in the offing for
now. Certainly, and then some of the figures coming in terms of expenses are really intimidating. Particularly, I wouldn't want to mention, but the media that we want to use, you said it here very clearly. If you want to use QTV, that could cost us a fortune. Likewise, in other, television, even the radios. Because of course, you have this commercial entity, you cannot blame anybody. And then we are happy that the media fraternity was very considerate and they're trying to be very reasonable and supportive in terms of what they can do to maintain, to support with a minimal cost. I think we need to commend the media fraternity for that commitment this morning.
Thank you. So Sandy Kijai, so this initiative is going to result to, students having the need to watch either the television or listen to the radio right at home. One way or the other, don't you think that this will also, go a bit against the notion of social isolation? Would you need to create public gathering in homes?
No, per se, I don't think it would invite public gathering at homes because, you might have 2 or 3 kids of different attending different classes. Okay. So if one is listening to his or her lessons, I don't think parents would allow or guardians would allow somebody to interrupt knowing the value of education, as people would normally say. If you don't know the value of education, try ignorance. I think every parent would try to understand that circumstance has created this. And I think the urge still would be that PS at the end of this, if COVID-19 is brought to its knees, we hope that at least a study would be carried to take it further. Because we should not only allow emergency when it arises, then we move back to the drawing board. Lessons should be learned from this, positive ones for that matter, and brace up subsequently, because we should not always wait until things happen, then we start moving. At least we should have emergency plans. Nobody wishes a pandemic or an outbreak to come, but at least let us start be preparing for any incidents or unforeseen circumstances. We should not, because sometimes if you plan during these difficult moments, you might oversight here and there, which is not even deliberate, because that's how it happens. So as you go along, you try to perfect your system. So the urge would still be you carry out a study, because that study would give you an insight of exactly what next, or where the shortfalls here and there, what were your strengths, and the opportunities that you've capitalized on. Because another golden opportunity, as I said here, is you still engage your partners, particularly the ministry responsible for communication, on connectivity, on the tariffs, because internet is costly, so they could bring it down. Because as I always say, it is very difficult for me if I am parading around Independence Drive, seeing young people, students, struggling to have access to Wi-Fi, my heart bleeds. Because I know some of them are out there to have a connection to e-libraries or to download resources that they would use. During our generation, it was not available. So I can just buy, fortunately, for myself, but for them, it goes back to the home. So parents have other priorities, and this is also because the world is evolving around this end. So we need to make it affordable. We need to make it cheap. Internet should not just go at a very high scale, that if you just buy $100 you could use for a day, that's too expensive for a student. We have to create avenues whereby Wi-Fi could be accessible all over this country. I mean, we need to refocus now. We need to re-strategize. I mean, this pandemic should teach us a lot of lessons that we need to work on. Not only the ministry, but us in general as the citizenry. Yeah, I think these are things that we all need to look at critically and try to forge ahead as a people and avoid some of the unforeseen circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah, very powerful deliberation there. So I think Mr. So want to just chip in on that. Is there a sort of response you have in mind?
Yeah, actually, you have a lot of implications, even in terms of teacher training, because the teacher training institutions, college, being Gambia College, University of the Gambia, need to respond also in terms of upgrading their curriculum to respond to online teaching us, related issues. But as I said, I think we at times watch for too long, and then we need to be very proactive. Like he rightly said, I hope and pray that this thing ends before 21 days, and then there should be a national chart to look at the lessons learned and then probably chart the way forward. And even in terms of the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, while they are struggling with classrooms, a very serious challenge, just came their way, and which they have to respond to. We are just lucky that the grade 12 exams has been delayed or deferred. Otherwise, it can cost us dearly, because that is beyond the control of the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, because it's an international examination. And even in terms of the National Assessment Test and the GABEC grade 9 exams, it is going to have a very negative impact on the performance of students in that, because some of those assessments and examinations are meant to inform policy. So if you have gaps in terms of delivery, certainly the feedback we'll be receiving would not be good enough. But as far as education is concerned, I think government need to pay attention. We just need to pay attention, to be honest with you. With due respect to what has been provided for, it is still grossly inadequate. Here's a classical example. I'm quite sure the permanent secretary probably here may not want to publicly acknowledge, but I know he does not have the muscles to confront these challenges. So otherwise, we would have just, wired or diverted funds from some other quarters and then respond to this adequately. But like he rightly said, even if you provide the tablets, you don't have access to electricity. Even if you want to do so, are the teachers prepared enough to deliver the lessons online? So you have a lot of attendant issues we need to address.
So that takes me to now, PS, in terms of effectiveness of the system that is being put in place, in terms of how would the ministry monitor the attendance and the participation of learners, because you're talking about from grade 1 to the basic education course, grade 1 to 12. So what mechanism in terms of participation to show attendance, and as well as the marking scheme for performance, things like that, are they all involved?
Yeah, let me put it this way. This scheme will succeed or fail depending on the parents. And I want to take this opportunity to appeal to them. Like I said from the beginning, we are all stakeholders in this. We made effort to take the lessons and deliver them at home. But we can only succeed if we have the cooperation of the parents. And therefore, they are very key in this. So we have to, no matter how, like you said, we have some monitoring mechanism in place, but the extent for that to work depends on the cooperation of the parents. So this is an opportunity to appeal to the parents to prepare their kids, because the schedule will be shared with them. They will know the schedule, and everybody will be on the same page as far as the schedule is concerned. So let them prepare their children, and then sit them in front of TV or radio, and then let them receive these lessons. And especially if you are educated, where your child is having a challenge, you should be able to pick up your phone and call the teacher for clarification. So these are the things we are expecting from the parents.
The Ministry of Education is well known for the monitoring system in place. It has like the cluster system is there, and data collection is all intact. So here you talk about the parents, that's one side, but at the side of the ministry, what will be the traffic like from the delivery side to the parents? So you have that picture?
Yeah, we have system in place, but like you would understand, the current pandemic will disable all that system, because our cluster monitors, our education officer will not have opportunity to visit these children in their houses, because that's not encouraged at this moment in time. So it's only the parents and the children that are together at the house. The only line of monitoring would have to be through communication. So, but then that, for the success or the failure of that, depend on how ready the parent is, or the willingness of the parents to give feedback to us at the ministry.
Okay, so the time remaining is not much, but I just come to Mukhtar. You are a medical student in Wuhan, China. I always say the epicenter of the coronavirus. At least there are positive news that the tension is going down now. So when are you hoping to go, or you want to continue relying on the online lessons you are receiving in Gambia?
No, actually. Well, it's like the flights are still suspending, like to China, because I take my flight from Guangzhou. There also, like, there are many cases confirmed in Guangzhou as well. So it's like I can't fly back. But I am quite so, like, they are still taking good measures, like positive measures, that like schools will resume soon, because high schools have already resumed. So anyway, universities haven't. So I believe even though Wuhan will be the last place for the universities to resume, even the high schools. But I believe the situations will come back to normal soon, because we have received positive news that no new cases are confirmed and no even suspected cases. So those are very, very positive news. Yeah, so we are hoping to go back to school soon.
Yeah, in China.
Yeah.
Stay in Gambia, stay safe. So yes, Sandiki Jai, earlier on, earlier panel we were discussing when I was at the airport, reporting the arrival of the airplane amidst the lockdown. This is a little bit out of the education discussed, but I think latest information reaching me here is that, instead of the female service chiefs who return home being kept at the quarantine center, I think their temperature have been checked, and some of them are left to go for now. So in the earlier panel, this was the center of discussion. As far as this special session is definitely about coronavirus, I think the latest information is that, not everybody is kept at the airport, although they are coming home. And after a few moments in a United Nations mission training on peace-related matters, our ladies forces are back, and a few are left to go after their temperature is being checked. And actually, those from hotspots are the one identified now. How do you receive this information?
I think I would always say that it's not only about hotspot, knowing what the pandemic can do and what we've seen from various news mediums. Let's not take chances. Let us be very thoughtful. Let us be very careful. Let us not take chances. This should not have been. What should have been, temperature check does not determine whether you are positive or negative. You can be carrying this virus and your temperature is okay at that very moment you pass through the airport. Going home a day or two, you can see the reaction. They should just have been allowed to go through a process as prescribed by WHO. especially these people are from a very disciplined entity, telling them that this is what is here.
So you still supported the military offer to receive them for their medical institution to quarantine them by themselves?
That would have been lovely. I mean, at least till now, that would still put down the stress and the skepticism, because this would draw another skepticism, and it would heighten the debate on social media again.
We continue the discussion on that in the morning. Good Morning Africa will be on this platform also to continue all the politics and then issues that matters more. So just be wrapping up now. So, you know, everything has advantage and disadvantage. So at the side of teachers, what are you hearing from teachers as far as Gambia Teachers Union is concerned with the initiation of this online system of learning? Mr. So.
Yeah, thank you. I have been monitoring the responses coming from teachers on the MOPSI Facebook page, and apparently quite a good number of them either didn't understand exactly what the conceptual framework is, or two are a bit skeptical about whether MOPSI would definitely be able to do something useful. That is something else, of course, we expected from social media. But what we're trying to say here is that emphasis is not being laid on curriculum delivery. This is a national issue. It's education in emergency. It is safety first. Get our children and teachers safe, and while they are at home, what do you do to engage them until such a time that the matter is resolved? And then this is a matter for not only the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. Virtually, we shut our office down and spend the whole week at the ministry engage in those brainstorming exercises and then developing strategies as to how to respond to this particular challenge. I would urge our teachers to continue doing their best by supporting this process, by disseminating the information, and then also in their own little way supporting the kids, because most of the schools in this country, virtually almost all of them, have WhatsApp platforms. Every regional directorate has a WhatsApp platform. We have a lot of platforms across this country. So I want us to be responsibly engaging on those things and then making sure that we support this process. This is not a matter for the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. It's not even a matter for the Gambia, but this is a global and development and health concern. Yeah,
thank you very much. PS, this initiative, where do you think it is going to take the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education from here?
Yeah, it will take us closer to our policy objective of using ICT or delivering education through ICT. This is very, very prominent in our policy, and the ministry has since been working towards achieving that. We have challenges, but then now the crisis situation is literally forcing us, despite all the challenges. Because I know in the absence of the challenges, it will be difficult to justify doing this. But now that there is a challenge and then people are at home and you must do something for them, whether it's adequate or inadequate, the ministry is obliged to do something. And then using ICT to deliver that the lesson is one way of addressing this problem. But again, my emphasis is that we need the cooperation of the parents.
All right, from my far left is Sandy Kinjai, who is an independent analyst who joined me to discuss this education initiative. Next to him is Mr. Esa So, Deputy Secretary General at the Gambia Teachers Union. Then I have the PS for Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, and Mukhtar SK Manjang for a student who is pursuing his medical degree in China. So luckily he's in the Gambia and then awaiting the coronavirus to end so that he could return. So with me, Ibrahim Ba. It was a pleasure having this panel, which is part of the daily update since Monday that we do on iAfrica TV to update the public as to the level of progress. This one was meant for discovery of maybe an opportunity in disguise, which is being powered by the Ministry of Basic and Education in the Gambia. So until in the morning, thank you very much. But before then, you can continue enjoying our program. So go to our website, iafrica.tv, and the live streaming continues for the rest of the 24 hours. Thank you very much, and bye-bye from us.
Oh, so it's a live streaming?
Yes.
I hope people are not insulting us. Bari kontaan ka baax kontaan ka baax